So it might seem like a stupid question. Why teach phonics? We all learned phonics as children, even in our own language. But what I wanted to do to give you a bit more of an idea of how the experience of learning phonics is for a Chinese child is teach you a little bit of Chinese so that you can imagine how they feel when they're exploring our language. Okay, so here is the word Xing. Hello, Jillian.
Xing.
Okay, we're learning Chinese. Okay, this is you imagining the experience of your Chinese learner. Okay, number 1, Xing.
Xing.
Okay, that's
Xing.
first tone. Xing.
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 And if you were going to spell that, how would you write it down?
CHING with a dash on the top to show that it's one tone.
CH, yep, or could be SH, like if we're trying to imagine
SH.
English letters, yep.
Mm.
Okay, number 2. Xing.
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 That's fourth tone. Xing.
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 Very good, very good. How would you spell that?
Same.
The same, yeah.
Can you guess what this word is?
Xing.
Close. Xing.
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 So here on this piece of paper we have Xing, Xing, Xing.
Xing. Xing.
Xing.
Xing. Xing. Xing. Xing.
But what we don't have is sh. Sh. We don't have sh. We never have sh. Words in Chinese stay in full completion and they never blend. So as a learner, they are memorizing full images attached to sounds, and those sounds never cross over with another sound. So here I've also got a very useful phrase, bu la, which means not spicy.
Ooh la.
Bu la.
Helpful to know.
Yeah. But what we can't do is say blah.
La.
The children never do that. And what that means is phonics is actually building an entirely different skill in the brain that they would never have done unless they've seen or studied English. So it's actually a different brain function for them to have understanding and ability to blend with phonics. So that's just a little background on our students and what makes them special in learning phonics, because they're one of the only languages in the world that's completely not at all phonetic. And it's entirely pictorial, and their skill is different in how they try to take English and sound it out. So that's where we believe we can be helpful with this course. And even though it is a sort of experiment, we are hopeful that running an entire phonics course will benefit the learners in their reading and writing. Good. So it's exciting, and I think it's a really nice challenge for us to try something new. You know, just as you're getting used to something, make it hard again. So what I want to do is run you through our goals from the beginning so that you know what we're gearing for. First thing that we want for all learners is knowledge of the alphabet and the sounds that each letter makes. If they can achieve this goal, then we aim to build their skills in blending. So, as with the Chinese characters, they are full image words. We believe that a lot of the learners have memorized full words, and although they can read, they can't blend. So, for example, what word is this?
Bread.
Bread.
So, if I just show the learners this, they may not be able to say what they're reading. Worse yet, I try to combine it, and it gets even more complicated for them. Although we see them read bread, our impression might be that they've got phonetic awareness of all of the letters that they're reading, but actually they've memorized it as an image. Big tall B at the front and a big tall D at the end and flatted across the middle, and I know the word bread. So just something to be aware of, that blending is a big step for them. If they are able to achieve that, then we aim to combine it all together and move forward into spelling awareness. So while you may be able to blend phonetic sounds, bread, eventually you're going to meet some words that are not phonetic, like THROUGH. You can't use your blending skill for that. So what we want to do in moving forward is identify spelling patterns and attach sound to those through memorization. So that's kind of the aim, and you cannot reach number 3 without reaching number 2. You cannot reach number 2 without reaching number 1. So that's where we're going, and that means that this course can apply to a weaker school and to a stronger school across the board. But we have to be very aware as teachers while we're going through the class. Okay? So let's look first at the first goal, because as obviously you would have touched on phonics before, but for us to know that they have achieved goal number 1, they have to be aware of both the grapheme and the phoneme. So the letter name and the letter sound. In a nice simple word, like you said before, Beneath, cat. So how many graphemes are in this word?
3.
Yes. And how many phonemes? How many phonemes?
3.
So grapheme, C-A-T. Phonemes, K-A-T. Okay, so we're good. If the child can recognize and say the letter and say the sound that it makes. So then there are times that means we can move forward with our goals, that we introduce more complicated set of graphemes that is only attributed to one sound. So IGH has 3 graphemes and 1 sound only. So this is how we build them up to good spelling awareness as well. Okay, we're all okay with that so far, everybody?
Yep, that makes sense.
Yep.
Good.
Cool. So what we're going to look at now is how the current thought about phonics is influencing the Class 100 course. Has anyone come across the term synthetic phonics or blended phonics? You might already be doing it. It's just a fancy name. But there was a sort of wave of movement in how we teach phonics from previous style, which is that we need to be aiming for the smallest sound within the phoneme. So if I say L, once I've released I've got 2 letters there. With synthetic phonics, the focus is to bring it into the most, for want of a better word, L-iest moment. The L-iest L you can L. So like, ooh.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Not to release the E as well.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yes, so this is still inside your mouth. So when we teach phonics, it's just something to be, I'm not crazy about this. I really think fun comes first. But when you're demonstrating the sounds, be aware of where the most central point of that sound is and try to stay true to it. So that means something like the letter P. Oh, good, I heard it. I heard it. Yeah. And so with breath sounds, you can always raise a hand and say, pa. Oh, it feels hot on my hand. Can you try? Yes. Okay. And so instead of having them say pa, when we put a P at the end of the word shop, we won't get shopper. We'll get shop, which is what they should be aiming for. Same thing as if we're putting 2 consonants together, p, l, pl, pl. That sound is going to stick together closely. I often hear colleagues saying sleeping. So like they spend a little bit of time with the S and then a little bit of time with the L. And it is quite hard for the tongue to go sli, sli, sli. So it does speed them up if we try to look for the synthetic phonics central point. So any errors coming to mind when you think about your students? Any other errors we could look at?
The T is quite common. Students tend to say t.
So
what? Putting the on the end.
Something like ita.
Yeah, it's quite common.
Other kinds of.
But they always add the They always add the
It's because they've been taught T is t. So they say t.
When those consonants close a word, it is really hard for them, and it's going to take a long time. But I think that's where synthetic phonics came in and decided that that's what we need to do now. So just for me, it's more just something that you just keep an awareness of while you're teaching. But for our training today, the focus is on how to make this fun. So when you go into a class, when you get your target letters, have a thought on how you can be pronouncing them, how you can be identifying that central point, and giving a really nice, clean model for the students. So while we're talking about target letters, let's look at our phonics course. So here is the 20 weeks of each level. So we have level 1, A and B, level 2, A and B, and level 3, A and B. Split into 10 lessons each. And you'll see in level 1 that we cover the whole alphabet, 2 letters a lesson. So that's half an hour for S and T. You can do it. And then my personal favorite long vowels with the regular spelling blend of vowel consonant E. And do spend time on this because it's very, very difficult for Chinese learners. Those sounds are not part of Chinese really at all. So they really have to make the mouth travel very far to create them. And in order to do that, they need practice. So lots of drilling. Then with our level 2, we move into more long vowels, but with the different spelling patterns for the first half, and then the second half into those consonant blends. Sl, sr, which is a weird one. Br, I think that's supposed to be ST.
Yeah, where does SR? What
Sri
word starts with
Lanka?
SR?
Sri
Yeah,
Lanka.
there we go. Sri Lanka.
Sriracha is sauce, you know. I don't know how to say that. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be ST. No, the ST's at the bottom. I'll find out about that. Yeah, so consonant blends at the beginning of the word. And then moving forward, I think we're still working with the beginning of the word. Some silent letters. W, H, and K, N, W, R, P, H. And then these kind of awkward but very systematic final word endings. Ball, call, talk. That you can just kind of substitute in and out an initial letter. And then your soft versus hard sounds according to the IE or the AOU.
Oh, yeah.
Soft G, hard G, soft G, hard C. Soft C, hard C. So that's how the course is structured, and we're encouraging students to start at level 1 or level 2 if their reading is strong. Okay. So let me see where we're up to. Course breakdown. We want to give you obviously an overview of what it looks like so you know where they're coming from and where they're going to, working as a base. But these target letters mean that that lesson is essentially devoted to their practice of that sound. So say like before we had bread and we tried to turn it into broom. Do I need to drill No, it's not the target for the day. We use broom to help them blend br. So broom, brag, Brexit. Don't know where that came from. So the focus is the BR, and the other letters you can give it to them. Give them a model. This says How can we blend BR with And there's the test for them after some practice in the class.
Sure.
Yeah. So that brings us to, you know, the advice and the guidelines that we have for you for your classes. The key point is focus on the blend. So you will get a lesson guide, and in that lesson guide it will have the focus of that lesson, but it will be very obvious to you as well. Use your time to drill that. Number 2, use movement, all the movement you can. Even though I was thinking, you know, it can be literally anything. I did this one, broom, or broom, or broom. Anything, you know, everything you do is something that they're going to practice with. It helps if it has some sort of echo of the sound it makes. So I was just talking to a teacher before, and he does like for L, like dying. Like this, to put your tongue out.
Okay.
Obviously you've got S, so you know, and those correlate quite nicely, but it's not always that easy. What letter is it?
X.
X.
Oh, what's another one? Sorry.
T.
Yeah, T.
T?
I'm in a cubicle. I can't make it well. Yeah. So movement makes this more fun. And then finally, I'm sure you have already worked out that you're going to need to fill in some time. So don't rush through the PPT. Stay with the letters, and when you think it's time, you can move on. And there's exercises and activities that we normally have, just like in our normal PPTs. So we'll
How many?
Yeah.
Sorry, how many slides are there in these phonics?
Usually, 22. About 22 from the level 1. Moving
Well,
forward.
that's not bad.
Yeah.
If you think you've got 25 minutes, so that's just a little bit more than a minute on a slide, which is actually still not a lot.
No,
if you think about it.
exactly. And the more movement you're doing, the more they're engaging with you. Then when you change the slide, there's a new thing to look at. And we still have warm-ups. So that takes up the beginning of the lesson. Lower the effective filter, relax, connect, still going on. And then finally, what I want you to really, really consider is that this is much of the same. That is much of the same techniques as we previously used. So, soft drills can still happen with letters. Just while we're on the topic, what kinds of interaction do you usually use in your class?
For soft drills or in general? I think I like the I do you say most of all.
Yep, so acting and having students guess. Yep, that's one. What else? I know you use them.
Asking students to make lists.
Yep. Getting them
Making
to
groups, talk and make
so what do you,
lists.
so when we do our interaction things, it's off the PPT. So things like props. If you use props in your class, it's off the PPT. So you can still do that. Pick up a snake. What letter is it? Yeah?
Also numbering.
Numbering?
Like we would, say put numbers on the pictures and say number 3, number 4, and they have to make the sound.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So if you've got some letters on the screen, you can number them. Number 1, T. Yes, very good. So those things can still all happen. And you will be fine in half an hour, just with 2 letters. So that's the key points that for our teaching. So hopefully it feels like a lot of what you've already been doing. So let's look at some examples. So we've got lesson level 1. So this class has S, the letter S, and the letter T for the whole class. So on this first slide, what can we do?
You can focus on big S and small s.
Yep, great. Yeah, that's cool.
So
That's a good idea.
big S and small s.
Yes.
Good, yes. Air drawing is also really nice.
Yes.
We can put our mouth very close and show the sound.
Yep, and I think if you're showing, it's great to point to different areas, like touch your teeth. Because the teeth stay together for us. You can't say. So just a little identification of the shape is good. Yeah, definitely. What else?
With the storytelling before in the previous semester, we were trying to include a small narrative into the lesson, not very complicated. So even that could help us extend time. Even on a slide like this, you can be like, you can introduce the character and where she is and what she's doing with 2 signs with S's.
Yeah, true.
Just to add some time. And what was the other thing? I forgot. I was going to say something else. I forgot. Go on.
I'm thinking like, yeah, if you want to go with stories as well, like there's a river. Everybody make a river. Wow, the river's so wavy. Can you look at this letter?
Yeah. Connect the story to the letter somehow.
Sure, like we're going on a letter hunt. Everybody put your hand up or put your hat on. Yeah, but that's up to you.
Oh, another thing. What about this? Might be a bit advanced for a lower level, but using the whiteboard to try to draw the mouth, or is that too much? You know what I mean? Like a profile of your mouth from the inside, but the tongue goes, how the teeth are standing.
Yeah, I think if your drawing can represent well what the mouth is doing,
Mine can't. Drawing is not my strong point.
More importantly, if the students know that what you're doing is drawing their teeth, their jaw, and their tongue, and that you then intend them to create that. So if you stage it, you could possibly do that.
Could you ask the children to draw like this?
Yep, I like drawing on hand, and that would be for me the small s. So it'd be and then big.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And then just a reminder to always do it the opposite way, unless you're writing.
Yeah, true.
So instead of look, if I do it now, like I'm sitting, I'm going to write S like this, but now it's the wrong way around for you. So I have to do it the opposite way. I have to go like this, so
what
that it
I
looks
like
right
to
for
do
you.
is do it so manically that they don't really know what I've done.
Okay.
Make an S. You don't really know what you saw, right?
Okay.
But it is a very good point. I don't know if I could do that quickly. Hang on. That's correct, right?
I mean,
it is a good point.
When we work with the very little ones and you're learning them to actually, we're focusing on the sound. When they're very little, you're teaching them to write the letter too. And then you have to teach them the right way round.
Yeah, that's true, especially with the one-on-one.
But we're not teaching writing. So we're teaching more the sound. So then, that probably doesn't matter.
That's exactly it. We're associating sound with image in a big way and hoping that will find its place in their writing.
They can already write the letter S.
Well, they can't show us.
Yeah.
So is our image back to front? Because sometimes I use flashcards with words on them.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's fine.
As soon as it's on a board, so as soon as I'm going to write the letter S.
Yeah.
If you write like this, sorry, now you can't see. Let me get a big.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh yeah. Do you know why?
If you write,
because if I look at
then
an
it's
S
fine.
in front of myself, it's flipped.
Yeah.
Right. But if I show it to you, then it becomes correct. You know what I mean?
Okay.
My brain hurts.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
So it's just remember that if you're showing it with your hands, the letter with your hands, you have to do it the opposite way around. Yeah. But as soon as you actually write it, it's fine. So it's always better. It's always better to show like this, to write the letter like this, because then you know it's the right way around. Whereas I'm going to show A, I have to do it the opposite. I have to do it like this. Where if I do it like this, it's the wrong way around for you.
Whoa, man, you're good.
So it's maybe better to
you've got that down. I just
letter and
But just in these moments we can rely on the PPT, and then we can break away from the PPT, kind of like peaks and troughs, you know, moments of focus and reading, moments of movement and interaction. So we do want to see them building confidence and independence. So eventually we might play a game like this where they say S, snake. Snake.
Snake.
Okay. What's another word with S? And maybe early.
Sad.
Yes.
Sad.
Sad. Okay, so now all the boys go SS snake. All the girls SS sad. Okay, now turn to your partner. So you can still have some pair work if you think it's nice to give them a moment of independence where they're not just saying what I say. They're thinking for themselves about the letter of the day. Nice, very nice ideas, everyone. Thank you. So this is level 2, working on those blends. I want to show you what I do for long A's because I think, you know, it could be helpful for you. So I get all the students to put their hands together like this. I've been doing this for years. And rub them together. Rub them together and rub. And then we say, A!
Hey!
Wow, so big. Let's try again. Hey!
Hey!
Wow. Very good. One more time. And then this time they go, ah. Oh no. Let's try again. Hey! Oh, that's better. Good. Is A long or short?
Long.
Long. Yes. Okay, one more time, everybody. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey! Oops, sorry.
Yeah. Good job, student number 3. No. It's just, again, coming back to what I said about long vowels, it's something I really push. And deciphering A and A is a good exercise because they're going to see a lot of A's and we don't want them to assume it's just A all the time. So that's for the long A, and then we've got some spelling work. Oh, hang on. So for spelling, again, the topic and the target is AI. So we can be giving them letter number 1. Okay, I'm going to write R. Okay, listen. Rain. Number 1, R. What is number 2? Okay, so you can place it in order for them, except the blend, because that's the goal, that's the target. And then the other thing that you will find, not only in level 1 and 2, but also in level 3, is blending chunks. So like we did before with bread, broom, train. So a lot, I'm sure you're already doing this, but moving hands together. Train. 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 Train.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's a clap, because what we want them to be realizing is that the whole word then becomes a single syllable. One utterance in one syllable. Train. But you go through all the letters. And eventually they've got a lot more independent work in the level 3. So can you make a word with dr? Drip, drap, drop. You know, this is a matching game. You can draw a line and say, who wants to make a word? I will draw a line. You say, what word is it? Or you could have them work in pairs. Here. Can you think of another word with dr? Turn to your partner. You have 20 seconds. Think. So always about dr, tr in the lesson. Testing them on that phoneme. So that's phonics, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it in action because I know it's going to be very fun and interactive. Now we'll move through to IPA, and just before we get started, anyone using IPA at present? In their classes? No club, no, okay. No problem. So the thing is, again, we just want to give you a little background. Why are we doing this? For the older grades, honestly, it is a lot for their writing and reading. But it really aligns with how they are learning. And every textbook in China has IPA written next to words. So they get a brand new word and they get the IPA and they know how to say it. And because English isn't phonetic and because it's got 100 mothers and fathers, that this kind of there's not as clear repetition of the same spelling for the same sound. So you've got choir, like OI typically makes oi, CH typically makes ch. So with IPA, we are just basically breaking words apart and rebuilding them with a different symbolic system. And I'll show you those symbols in a minute, so we'll go through them. So choir is the KW, as well as QU, the KW IPA.
Yep.
CK, 2 graphemes, 1 phoneme. F for GH, F for PH. And we're looking at typical moments where we can represent graphemes with a different IPA symbol and have a quick memory about it. So it is kind of about efficiency with the older ones. So
do we need to learn them off by heart?
It's so good that you asked. Look at this. Whoa, you read
Only
my mind.
If I want to. Whoa, that was amazing.
You read my mind. Do I have to learn IPA? No, you don't. But when you receive your lesson guide and your PPT, you will need to know the sounds you're teaching. And in order to do that, just look at this chart.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible for you to kind of not recognize what the sound is by getting the word example. But we will look through it now, seeing as I've got you here. Yeah. So these yellow sounds are vowels, simple monophthong vowels. So we say that it is one sound, whether it is long or short, doesn't matter. So here is a long vowel, E, and here is a short vowel, I. Yeah, there's going to be accent variation. I'm from New Zealand, and we say which is really hard to even pronounce myself. So I really struggle teaching
Yeah, it's not a fun one.
Oh, it's hard.
Because you get like sit and pig.
Yeah.
But both is like how do you teach that? It really, then I think now I'm telling them to say E, now I'm telling them to say I think the kids get confused because you've got sit but pig, but both is so very difficult.
Pig.
Is what I like to do.
Yeah, so what you're doing there, Gillian, perfect. Pointing up. So with the older ones, we're not going to do things like pig. You know, we're going to do more age-appropriate things, which is very much about the jaw and the mouth and the teeth and the tongue. So pointing up.
She says E.
You're smiling a bit more than me. But yeah. So these are vowels, and there's 12 single vowel sounds. And these here are called diphthongs.
Diphthongs.
Yes, which means that you are moving through 2 vowels to create one new sound. That is neither the first vowel or the second vowel. It's a combination of the both. So like, here's a nice example. What sound is this?
Ooh.
Oh.
Yep, that's nice. Very back up at the throat, like ooh. And
Ah.
Ah.
Ah. It's like a ah. Ah. So if you put them together, you get ua, which
Ua.
in the word tour is one sound.
Oh, yeah.
Tour.
Tour.
Your.
Tour.
Tour.
Your. For.
Your.
Oh.
For.
Oh.
So that is the diphthong. It's moving through.
Then you get flower.
Yeah, so that, ow. That's good. So look, here's ow.
Oh, that's the last one.
Here's ow.
Ow.
Ow. Ow. Ow.
Ow. Ow. I always go like someone hits you. Ow.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ow.
So that is for our model part. You know, we demonstrate the sound. You can do it with a whack or things like that. So that top half is all vowel sounds. Then we have our consonants. So the consonants are super fun because in order to demonstrate them, the students have to be very interactive. The vowels are a little bit more complex because there's a lot of mouth shaping involved and the placement of the tongue. Whereas consonants, you can demonstrate with a little bit more like sort of obvious way. So if I put my hand in front of my mouth and say p, p, I get them to demonstrate the feeling of doing a P and a B. A P and a B, P, 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 P. But when I get to the B, I can put my hand on my throat and contrast the two sounds. P, B,
B. B.
P, B. So what this means is all of the consonants are paired. One is voiced and one is not voiced.
D.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
That's exactly it. So let's go through from P to J. Okay? P, B.
B.
B. Sorry, I'm releasing a bit of sound. T, D.
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 G.
G.
See how you vocalize on J with your vocal cords? G.
G.
G. G. G.
And the mouth does not change. So like a sentence would be, I think that.
I think
that.
You don't say I think. And you don't say I think that.
Think.
You have to switch that.
That.
Yeah. Short. Casual.
Short. Casual.
Short.
Short.
So those are paired, and then our final row is called the nasals or the approximants. So the nasals are informed entirely by the position of the tongue. So your tongue is right down in your lower part of your jaw, and obviously your mouth, your lips are shut, right? So but for N, the tongue travels right to the front, behind the tongue, behind the teeth. But the sound is located in the same place. And then the tongue moves right up to the top at the back. Oh, hello. We're just playing with sounds. So,
Okay.
Okay, good. So, to clarify about that with learners, the tongue is the only difference. And for me, when I'm discussing the tongue with learners, I point profile, cheek. So I would do up at the nose. Put your tongue back. Okay, now put your tongue down. And things like that. Touch your teeth, touch your jaw. Hands, shapes, everything. It's going to be useful. It's not the main focus, but it is really nice to get them interested in what they're actually doing with physically. What are they doing? And then here, these are called the approximants. So they are sounds that don't fly out. They also stay inside until a vowel is attached to them. So, wrong, right,
Right.
So they stay inside until a new letter is introduced to release the sound. Anyway, you will have this sheet, and these are the little tricks that we have for you to demonstrate in a funny way. So simple checklists that you can do are like, is there breath? So not for an L, not for an R, not for an approximant, but yes for a T and a K. So you've got always the option of hand to mouth. Yeah, and we're feeling breath. Okay, is there a vibration? So only for the second of the two. Hand to neck. Get all the students to put their hand on their neck. And you can exaggerate, and it's supposed to be funny. Don't worry. What are your teeth doing? So something like N, you go, eh. And even though when we talk to each other, we don't say nose, but we're actually going through that motion, nose. So exaggeration is key here. This is a fun group of letters to play with. Notice for all four, my teeth stayed in the same position. Two are not vocalized, two are vocalized. But aesthetically, the sound looks the same. So it's supposed to be fun. But yeah, my advice for the tongue is use your finger, like on your cheek, down, up, forward. Yeah. And the vowel sounds are going to be the hardest, but also the most important. This is a slide that I just wanted to I just thought it was funny. I wanted to put it in. I'm not going to go into this. But it is very common to pronounce the word wrong through the wrong vowel, and you can immediately change the word. In an instant, it's a different word. So it is nice for them to have more awareness of their vowels and the variation in the way vowels come out of your mouth. So that is for you to more feel like, why are we doing this? This is so boring. But it's going to have an impact, which we do believe is a useful impact. So I want you to think back to phonics, just like phonics. Goal number 1, awareness of the IPA alphabet. And it's a bigger challenge because there's more letters. Number 2, blending the IPA alphabet to make words. like we did with choir, was KW, the backwards AIR, choir. And then finally, typical spelling blends that we can connect to the sounds that we know. So I want you to keep in mind these things. Even though we've been discussing a lot what we're doing, try not to over-explain to the learners, because it's just going to get quite wordy. Demonstrations, pointing, hand, here. Another fun one you can do is hand on the stomach for like quickly. Yes, very good. Okay, and so that'll have more use. Drilling it will be more useful than explaining the mouth position. Use a lot of movement to have them become aware of their physical production of speech. Then try not to constantly read everything. And sometimes you change the slide and you're kind of like, oh, what do I do with this slide? And you go, okay, who wants to read? Try not to do that. Think back. What is the target phoneme? Go for that. Okay. Repeat after me.
Good one.
Let's look for words with I. Can you find one? I see one. What word is this?
Practice.
Good. Yeah. See, so we're not reading the whole thing. We're identifying things. Now, can you find a word?
Interesting.
Oh, good.
Quickly.
Where? Quickly.
With.
Quickly.
Where's quickly? Did I write? Oh, quickly.
Move too quickly.
Wow, better than me. Yeah, there you go. So, see, we played first, and now we could read the whole thing if you want to, if you think it's valuable. But keep that target phoneme in mind, and the kids will get those. What that develops is their own ability to code and uncode things. So if we set a template for them, then they later move forward and go, oh wait, is this the long I or the short I? Does this make it? Good. So we're identifying two I's that they're going to come across, but they're not going to hear the same sound. That kind of thing. So, yes, don't move too quickly, just like with the phonics. Stay with the sounds, stay with the model, repeat and practice. And do remember that we are aiming for them to memorize this alphabet eventually, so that they can read it like a normal word they could read. So I want you to read this that I wrote when I was thinking about the goals. Don't worry about the slide. Down the bottom here, what word is this?
Oh my goodness.
English.
English? 2 words.
Really?
2 words, 2 words.
I have no idea.
Really? Oh.
Teacher?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
So that is the IPA for English teacher. And there's a little upside down R here, because in American English there's more of a they say teacher. Whereas in British English that is a schwa sound. So we say teacher.
Teacher.
Teacher. Teacher.
Sure.
There's no kind of catch to the R. So it doesn't matter where you're from, what your accent is, just follow the PPT. So the teacher's PPT says teacher, try it out. I come across a lot of things that I don't normally say, but I just align myself with what they're learning, because that's what they're going to be tested on at school. So very quickly, let's look at some examples. Very, very quickly. What sound is this? E. Everybody smile. E. Yeah, so we're already into modelling, you know, we're already moving. We've got all these fruit. Who knew what a mangosteen was? I didn't.
Yummy!
I do. Thailand, it's awesome. It's a
I've lived
lovely
in
fruit. It's
Southeast
very
Asia for a
nice.
long time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen them before. I just didn't know they had an English name. Mangosteen. Like, what? And then we often differentiate two sounds at a time, as I said. Oh, I don't think I showed you that. Quickly, let me show you that. Sorry, I've missed it. So there's 2 levels of IPA. The first one covers all the sounds. 2 vowels, 2 consonants, usually. Sometimes 1 vowel, 2 consonants. And then review. This is just a review of interesting spelling blends or patterns that they might come across. So it's not new in level 2, it's just a little bit more advanced with more focus on writing. So we're contrasting 2 sounds, and you have to say the word and identify the IPA. So, pyong, into the gold. And see, they're going to be saying, is it number 1 or number 2? Lychee. Or actually here it says lychee with the IPA.
So how must we say it? Lychee.
It's not on the list.
Must we really then say lychee?
Lychee's the correct way.
No.
Serious?
Lychee.
No.
I take issue with this. Lychee.
Lychee.
No.
Lychee is the English transliteration of lychee, which we then teach to Chinese people who made up the word in the first place. You know? What are you talking about? You can't reteach me my word.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I've
Here,
always known it as lychee.
British English classifies this word as lychee in English. So it's okay. It's not the focus of the day. But they'll probably say lychee. Don't correct them. They're correct.
Okay.
Yeah, don't correct them. They correct.
We're not correct. And so this is kind of how the lesson scaffolds, and eventually we want them to be empty reading IPA. No pictures, no matching, just reading. And this is like, what word is this?
Beep.
Yes.
Beep.
So that is us done for the day. We've completed our goal and gone through some words. There will be a song at the end of every class, and you'll have 2 sentences per week. But again, just make it about the phoneme of the day. Can you find all the sounds? So that is level 1. Level 2, as I said, it just works with a little bit more complex blends. So SP at the beginning as well as SP at the end. They're going to be reading full words in IPA and matching them to full words in English alphabet. So that's how the progression works. All right? So I have to let you go, but is there anything that comes to my mind right now that I can clarify?
Will we be doing any of the old style lessons with like culture time and all that kind of thing?
The plan is no, but the actual story goes that if they don't like it, they're allowed to change back if they want to after a month.
Okay.
So come April, there could be regular classes again. I really honestly don't know. I'm interested in how this goes, but I can't predict.
Okay, so everything's changing from now, unless the schools want to go back.
Yeah,
okay.
Unless they really dig their heels in and say, we hate this course. Get rid of it.
Okay. And it goes all the way up to year 10 and 11?
Yeah,
the full...
I actually have to get back to you on that one because this level 7, this is grade 7 and 8 for now. I'm not sure what the 9 and to 10 would be doing, so I'll have to get back to you.
Okay.
Can I just ask before you go?
Yes.
Is the focus on British English or American English?
So it's
British.
more common in China to learn British English.
Right.
So our
Because
IPA...
I see the picture of what I would call a crisp and the sound,
crisp.
so I would assume it's crisp. But
Yes. So we do teach British English.
Some might say chip.
Just read the IPA. No, I'm joking. Okay. So, guys, thank you.
No, I mean like for
very
the
much.
game here, because there's no.
Yeah. This would be cool.
Yeah, there's no word. Yeah.
So I have to go. So we'll see you soon.
Okay.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Thanks, Michelle.